pictures are from earlier and give you any updates that we get into Fox Business. Also here in this country, more news breaking today. Existing home sales bringing the Dow off session lows, but the news is very mixed. There's more cash deals. A third of sales were foreclosures. Joining us now, Rodney Anderson, author of Credit 911 and executive director of Supreme Lending. Rodney, I want to start with that foreclosure data point. 37% of sales in January were foreclosed homes. Were you surprised by that?
No, I'm not, Cheryl, because a lot of people are looking for deals right now. We're seeing a number of people come in to get pre-approved because they think buying these foreclosures is an absolute deal. And in many cases, Cheryl, they're truly not the best deal out there.
All right, and so Rod, are you worried about the data that you got again? A market data point this morning that didn't look so positive?
No, I think one of the...
I'm going to bring in Sarat as well, Rodney.
I think if you're going to look at the silver linings to say, okay, people are they're starting to spend their money, they want to go out and buy things. But I do think you've got to give it a period of time when all this inventory gets cleared out, and at some point. But I think the other part is that when rates do start rising, people want to get ahead of that curve as well.
And Rodney, I mean, a lot of the deals were cash deals. I mean, I'm not sure if that's a good or a bad thing. Does that mean there's no financing available, Rodney? Or does it mean that people just have a lot of money on the sidelines?
Cheryl, credit is tight. I mean, the banks are the control center, and I call it the say no guidelines that are out there. They'd rather find every way to say no to the consumer than say yes. But here's the thing. Whose numbers are they, Cheryl? Because last week CoreLogic came out and challenged the National Association of Realtors numbers and said, hey, sales were 1.3 million less last year than first reported. That's like me saying the stock market's at 12,000 should be at 8,600. The problem is Congress, nobody in either political party in the last 3.5 years has addressed a growth strategy out of housing. I would challenge both parties to come up with 3 growth strategies to get us out of this housing mess.
Well, go ahead.
Yeah, well, Rodney, exactly what would you do? I mean, at some point, you're just going to have to put your hands in the air and say, we've just got to let this thing fall until it hits bottom.
No, I disagree with that. And where I would disagree is because there are a lot of people that are upside down on their mortgages that can pay these mortgages. They could qualify for a new and improved rate, but what they need to do, if they qualify based on their income, assets, and credit, let them refinance to 15-year fixed-rate mortgages so they can build some equity, so the banks are at less risk, the government gets more money because there's less mortgage interest deduction, and it all starts flowing. But these people, most of them are at 6.5%, 7%, and they can't do anything, and so they'd rather just give their homes back.
Yeah, but home prices continue to fall, so you may try and get out of that upside-down situation, but as long as prices continue to be depressed with this massive inventory, how are you going to support house prices?
Well, that's why you have to start encouraging the consumer to build equity in their home. On a 15-year fixed-rate mortgage, they pay down their principal 4.1 times faster. If we get these rates on these lower-term loans down to 3.5% or 4% again and let people that are actually upside down turn into the refinance market, hey, we're going to start seeing some gains out there.
Rodney Anderson, I hope you're right, and we'd love to have you back in New York anytime you're available. It was great to have you here in person last week. Rodney Anderson, Executive Director of Supreme Lending. Excuse me, I almost said subprime. I would never do that to you, Rodney.
No, don't say that.
Thanks, Rodney. All right, we're going to take a break. Oh, boy. When we come back, Democrats in the Hoosier State are taking a cue from Wisconsin and jumping ship to stymie the GOP's anti-union plans. Who else?